You're welcomed by the USU Software Project team. We are working on developing specialized software. We would like to present you a new generation program for any utility company: water utility, heating system, boiler house, intercom company, garbage disposal, cable television, gas facilities, energy company, management company, and other organizations working with tenants. With the help of our program, it will even be possible to organize a single settlement center, which will be consolidated into a single receipt of accrual from all service providers. But let's consider everything in order. The program is launched from a shortcut on the desktop. The login window appears. Each user can work using a separate login, which is password protected. Also, each employee can have individual access rights, which allow them to see only the information that is in their authority area. Separate credentials are configured for customer service, cashier, accountant, and the head of the organization. We'll log in as main to see all the functions. Our customer accounting software is used by various utilities, which can easily customize it to their specific needs using directories. Directories are your settings. First of all, you need to fill out the services. It is for them that accruals will be made. For example, if the work of a water utility is automated, payments from the tenants will be charged for water and sewage. If necessary, you can add any one-time services: connecting, disconnecting, configuring, etc. For convenience, all one-time services can also be included in the customer's receipt. For each service, it is indicated in which units it is calculated and who provides it. For example, we measure water in cubic meters. Next, you can customize the amenities directory. What are amenities? This is when customers do not use the same service on equal terms. For example, high-rise buildings have a water supply system, while customers of the private sector can go to a water pump to get the same water. Some have metering devices installed, while others pay according to the consumption rate. If you go to any type of amenities, you will see that with the help of this directory, you can easily regulate how customers will be charged for your services. Whether the accrual will depend on the readings of metering devices, or on the number of tenants, or on the area of the apartment, or it will be a joint bill from some service subcontractor company that will be shared among all tenants. This happens, for example, during the maintenance of an elevator, when the number of emergencies is impossible to predict. We continue to take the work of the water utility as an example. In small settlements, amenities in terms of water use can be various: watering crops, watering cattle, washing a car. You can make charges for any usage. Now let's turn our attention to the bottom of the window. Here we see what services are included in the added amenities and what tariffs will be for these services. Moreover, tariffs for different groups of customers may differ. For example, tenants will pay less for a service than organizations. In addition to indicating the tariff, here we can also enter consumption rates for the case when the customer does not have metering devices. Moreover, it can be divided by consumption zones, which will be used for electricity when the day rate is higher than the night rate. Even such a complex regime as a differentiated tariff is supported. For example, if the customer used up little water this month, the tariff will be cheaper. Now let's move on to other settings for customers. You can divide them into different categories and subcategories. Provide services for any number of settlements. Accept payment in different ways: in cash, through a bank, In terms of various integrations, our program can also interact with other different systems. For example, for cable television using modern digital subscription equipment, it will be possible to simply mark the payment from the customer in our program, and the digital subscription will be automatically renewed for the paid period. We do our best to make your work as convenient and comfortable as possible. We also want to draw your attention to the fact that our program uses the most modern technologies. For example, customers can be notified in a variety of ways. You will always have as many as 4 types of mailings at your disposal: email, SMS, Viber, and voice call. Yes, you heard right. Our program will even be able to call the necessary customers, introducing itself on behalf of your company, and report any important information. Now let's take a look at the most important thing: work with customers. This is what you will do every day. And for you to enjoy our advanced program even more, we have developed many beautiful designs. From the list of more than 50 themes, you can choose the one you like. So, everyday work is done in modules. Modules are the main accounting units. The main module is, of course, customers. In the program, you can keep track of any number of customers. We set everything up so professionally that it does not matter whether you have 1,000 customers or 1,000,000. The program will work equally fast. Please note that when you enter the Customers module, the program does not display thousands and tens of thousands of entries for you, does not force you to dig into a huge amount of information in search of the desired customer. The program displays Search, and you can easily find any customer right away, by account number, by surname, or by address. Our program is so optimized that for each action it shows how long it took to execute it. Now the search for the desired customer took milliseconds. It's less than a second. It is just an instant. The search criteria are shown in the middle. If you click here, the search will open again and we can find another customer. If the search criteria are not specified, then the complete register of customers will be displayed. Our software contains unique methods of handling large amounts of data, even when thousands of customers are displayed. Contextual Search. Without any additional input fields, you can click directly on any column and start entering the desired information from the keyboard, for example, an account number, and the program will immediately move the focus to the customer you need. Grouping. When you can grab with the mouse and drag any column up. Then all your customers will be grouped according to the selected column. Data filtering. When from all customers you want to display only those who, for example, live on the required street. This can be useful when you print receipts for each street separately, so that it is convenient to distribute them later. Automatic calculation. Below you can immediately see the summary data by the total number of registered customers, by the number of tenants, and even by the total debt, the so-called balance. Column setting. Each user can customize their workspace. The widths of each column can be changed, they can be swapped, the additional columns can be displayed, or the unnecessary ones can be hidden. And now, from the technical advantages, let's move on to the issue of filling in the customer base. Everything here is also at the highest level. If at the time of the implementation of our program you have customers' data in electronic form, for example, in a structured Excel file, you can quickly import this data. Right-click and select the Import command. You can see that import is supported from a variety of modern formats. For example, select Excel and then specify the file itself. Next, you need to match those columns in the file with the columns in our database. You specify where the category of customers is, where the subcategory is, name, account number, city, etc. In the end, all you have to do is just click the execute button, so that later you can simply sit and watch how thousands of customers are being added to the database. As they say, you can look at three things for an infinitely long time: how the fire is burning, how the water is running, and how the program is working while you are resting. In addition, you will have at your disposal a manual method of adding when a new customer comes in the process of work to sign a contract for receiving your services. To do this, select the Add command in the context menu. A new customer is registered very quickly. We'll fill in the required fields, somewhere entering from the keyboard, somewhere choosing from the list, and some information, for example, an account number, will be assigned automatically. Then we just need to list what services customers use. For example, they have water supply according to metering devices. If there are metering devices, we immediately enter information on them, number and last reading. Sometimes, instead of numbers, metering devices are given a name for clarity, depending on where they are installed. Now let's look at the standard operations for making accruals and payments. There are two types of accruals, according to metering devices and without them. There are utilities, for example specializing in garbage disposal, which do not need metering devices, which means that it is even easier for them in this regard. At the beginning of each month, they will simply click on the command Conduct bulk accruals. That's all. It takes just a moment to make accruals for all customers. The same with penalties. You can charge a penalty to all non-payers at once for any period, while the program itself will take into account the time period they had to pay off their debts. Now let's look at the situation of those customers for whom charges should be made using metering devices. There are different ways of doing that. Readings can be taken by controllers. There are even modern metering devices that can be read automatically, and most often the customer comes to the cashier to pay and tells what a new reading is. Both accrual and payment are carried out simultaneously. For this, we have provided an automated workstation for the cashier. We select the action Carry out accrual by metering devices and payments. When you have found the required customer in advance, you will immediately see information about him. And if you have a queue of customers with receipts for payment, you don't have to close this window. Just enter personal account number to automatically display the next customer. You can also use such equipment as a barcode scanner so that the cashier does not enter the account number manually, but quickly reads the barcode from the receipt given by the customer using the scanner. This will increase the throughput at those payment points where it is needed. Now we look at the window itself. If customers have metering devices, they will be listed on the left side of the window. Here we just enter a new reading. And in the right part of the window, we make a payment, which is immediately distributed to all services provided to the customer. Everything is as fast and convenient as possible. Now that we have seen how easy it is to work with customers in our program, let's see how it is even easier to make various forms and reports. There is a drop-down menu Reports above the list of customers. Let's go in order. For each customer, if necessary, you can make a reconciliation report for any period of time. There is a mass printing of receipts, which, as mentioned earlier, takes into account the current filter, so that receipts can be made both for all customers and for a specific area or street. Or you can even print receipts excluding those who left a prepayment, so that people would not be disturbed once again, and besides you could save some printing paper. Modern trends allow utilities to not only print receipts, but even send them as files to the email of advanced customers. And if customers leave their mobile phone number, you can notify them via SMS about the accrual and even about the amount of debt. There is also an opportunity to view the receipt for a certain customer. Please note that it is not a receipt that is printed for legal entities, but an invoice. The accountant can display a register of all invoices. For controllers, you can create lists of customers. Moreover, you can display everyone, and even those who have more than a certain amount of debt, in order to work with debtors. There is also a summary report that can be made for any period of time. In it you can see incoming balance, total accrual in both quantitative and monetary terms, current balance, total sum of accepted payments, outgoing balance. And also in a separate block, the citation with regard to penalties will be shown, how much in general was charged and paid for the penalty. All internal reports will be made with the logo and details of your organization. Note that the summary report is as flexible as the bulk receipt printing. If you have not displayed all customers, but only the required group, then all these analytics will be shown for the selected customer group. Now we will tell you about additional features of our comprehensive program. Interaction with a single settlement center or its organization. Any accruals and payments can be easily both exported from the program and imported into it. A wide variety of popular formats are supported. You can take into account all requests from customers and issue work orders. If you have an unlimited budget for automation, we can even make a connection with telephony for you. When the customer calls, you will immediately see who is calling at the moment of the call. You can pick up the phone and immediately say, "Hello, dear John Smith." We assure you that customers simply do not expect such a service from the majority of utility companies. Be the best in your field, and then all squabbles and swearing from customers will disappear. We also have warehouse accounting included in the program. For example, for each work order you can see exactly what materials and in what quantity were spent, what in what quantity is in stock, and even see what is running out. In addition to warehouse accounting, you can also maintain full financial accounting. This will not be accounting but management financial accounting, which will be convenient and understandable to every manager. We have shown only a small part of all the possibilities available in the program. For more detailed information, please visit our official website USU.kz. Contact us in any convenient way. Call or write. Find out how we can automate your organization. USU software, manage your business properly.